appreciate y'all love. I appreciate y'all love for sure. That fight definitely happened.
Who's doing the interview?
Jamil from YSM.
That fight like 4 or 5 years ago. It was like 4 or 5 years ago. 5 years ago.
¿Es tan Norman?
Yeah. Not to cut you off, but
Badass knockout.
I think his trainer Robert Garcia, they had said something long, like not a long time ago. We both had 47. He was like, no, we're not worried about that kid right now. We're not ready right now. Maybe in another 5 years. We're here now, so it's that time. It's gonna happen for sure.
You said that? I don't even remember when the fuck was that. ¿Qué dijo?
He said that you said 5 years ago that around a little bit, sometime back, that you guys need about 4 to 5 years to make that fight happen between him and Vergil, and that 4 or 5 years que ya pasó, that's already gone through.
Oh, so right now is the perfect time.
Yeah, right now is the perfect time. Is kind of what he's saying.
Look, I'll tell you right now, because this is for sure. Yesterday, I was told by very fucking, ¿cómo se llama eso? You know, like a real
Reliable sources.
100% that now that he's moving up, right away they invited him for the fight against Vergil for September, and he said he needs 2 tune-up fights at 54 before he fights Vergil. So he's bullshitting.
Oh,
He's bullshitting. He's, you know, the video, the camera, whatever. Obviously, he's gonna say that because he's a fighter and he's a bad motherfucker. You know, he's bad. He's bad. But moving up to weight, and I don't blame him either. He wants 2 fights before he fights Vergil, before he challenges Vergil, which I don't blame him in. You know, like I said, he's moving up. He's going to test his weight, test his power, everything at 154. He wants 2 fights before even mentioning Vergil. I was told that yesterday by a very, very
reliable
It's
source.
not a fucking lie. It's not a lie.
Now, the probability. This is a fight that everybody's been talking about since 47.
Because look, Vergil's also plan is to fight him sometime in September. He's moving up in weight. Why would he say no? If he's really saying he's ready and he'll fight Vergil, then they should fight in September. They should. But it looks like Vergil might fight somebody else because he said he needs 2 fights at 54 before he challenges Vergil. And like I said, I understand him. I'll probably do the same. Right, with our fighters moving up in weight, hey, let's
we wait till September, maybe September 2026?
So it's going to be probably September 2026, maybe, yeah.
Again, everybody's been looking for this fight since 47. Vergil moved up faster than he did. Now he's finally making the move.
But he made the move 2 fights ago.
Yeah.
After his fight, he said, I'm moving up in weight. He made that move, and there was already a date and everything. Remember?
Yeah.
And he's decided to go back, which, like I said, you know, maybe he didn't fighting at home. Maybe he wasn't disciplined enough to make weight. That's why he felt drained and not too good. But then he came back and made weight in his next fight. So fighting at home maybe took the fight lightly because it was already a rematch, somebody that he already beat. So fighters go through that, man. You know, all fighters go through that. I've had fighters that go through that, you know, a lot of times. Especially me I work with fucking 30 professional fighters. We see it happen all the time. So it's not like something that he was afraid. Nah, he stayed at 147, tried it one more time, and he did. Now he's moving up, but I know he wants 2 fights before he challenges somebody like Vergil.
Speaking of Vergil kind of tweeted out something out with his hand surgery and everything. How's that going?
It's good now. He's back in the gym training. He'll be back in camp pretty soon. Planning on something for September. Nothing official yet. Nothing. But September will be the date for him. You know, the month where we think he'll be more than ready. Go bring my phone with me.
Do you think they're gonna make him like you know how they always have these big fights right before the big fight? You know, they announced Crawford versus Canelo and Allegiant on the 13th, maybe like a Friday night fight with Golden Boy taking Vegas or something like that?
Honestly, not sure. Not sure what's gonna happen. But you know, Vergil is in a position where, you know, he is in big fights, so it doesn't matter who he fights. It'll be somebody that makes sense, I'm pretty sure. You know, but that's Golden Boy and Rick Marigan's job. You know, once they have something, they'll let us know. They'll tell us, you know, what we think and give us a few options, and we'll go from there. But it's right now. I would have loved it to be
Boots.
Boots, but it already happened once, and I know he's not going to do it.
I don't want you to speak for Vergil, but I want you to speak for yourself, because we knew what happened like about a year and a half ago, or actually a year ago. It was supposed to be Vergil and Zoo. Then the Fundora situation happened, the Thurman and everything. Now they're having a rematch coming up. What do you think is more likely? That Vergil will fight the winner of that rematch first, or Boots Ennis first?
It should be, because especially when
Which
you
one?
have,
Which one of the two?
the winner of
Fundora Zoo too.
Because of the rankings, because of the belts and stuff like that, it should be. But I don't know if it will happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because Keith Thurman's also in the picture. Maybe Thurman gets the winner of those two. Because it's also PBC. So that's the way business is. When it comes to the promoters and the winner of Fundora and Tim Tszyu, PBC would rather their own fighters fight, and it's Thurman's still a big name. He's still it'll still make noise. So I think they'll go that direction. I would love it to be Vergil, but I don't think so. I think they'll go with somebody like Thurman better.
Okay. All right. Moving off of actually, let's talk a little bit more about Boots and everything. How long have you been seeing Boots and what he can do? And at the same time, what can you take from what you've seen that Vergil could take advantage of?
Look, we've known Boots since the beginning of his career. He was with Cameron Duncan, and I always worked with Cameron Duncan very close. You guys, everybody knows. Cameron always talked about that kid being special. Once we started watching, we knew that kid was going to be special. So we've known of him since the beginning of his career. Cameron did a great job promoting him and giving him a record. Then was smart enough to take him to Showtime and work that that direction. Cameron passed. Rest in peace, Cameron. But now the kid's in a position where he's on top of the world. No, we've always knew about this kid. No, I've always been a fan. He's a great fucking fighter.
I was about to actually literally ask that. Is he the goods as everybody makes him out to be?
He's the real deal. He can fight. That kid's the real deal.
Now let's move forward to other events that are going on. We have Bam training and everything. Bam has the unification fight with Cafu and everything. Bam is making a legacy throughout the last few years about what he's doing and what he's been able to accomplish, who he's beaten and everything. What continues to drive him?
Well, look, he doesn't want a long career in the sport. He doesn't want a long career. He wants to retire young, enjoy his family. He's already promised his dad and all of us that he'll retire young. So he doesn't want to be taking his time. He wants the best out there. He wants to fight the best. He doesn't get motivated if it's not a big fight, a unification fight. That's the first thing he wants is unifications. If the unifications are not there, then it has to be something that really pushes him to get to camp and do it. If not, he'd rather not fight. His last fight, it was a mandatory, so he was pretty much forced to do it. But it's not something that he really, he was really excited about. His fight against Guevara, which was a decent opponent. He was ranked. He was his mandatory interim champion. So he had to do it. But Bam wants the unifications. He wants, he's getting this unification with Cafu, which is a good fight. Cafu's a dangerous guy. People don't know him and might think, it's going to be easy for Bam because they've seen Bam. But we've been watching Cafu, and Cafu's dangerous. Is probably the most dangerous guy at that division. After that, I'm sure Bam's going to want another unification against Puma Martinez. Hopefully, it's a fight that could happen. If not, 118 is our next step.
For those who recall the Gallo fight, Gallo versus Bam was a very good fight. Should we expect this fight with Cafu to be on par with that or even better?
Look, we don't know. Cafu is coming from, in a position where very few know who he is. He is a world champion, but very few know who he is. So what does he want? He wants to be there. He's training to beat Bam and get that position. So he's those are the dangerous guys, the ones that have never been out there with big paydays or with big fights and they want that position. He doesn't have that, so he wants. So he's probably, like I said, he's probably going to be the most dangerous guy that Bam has faced at 115.
a lot of people don't ever ask these questions, but is there a rematch clause just in case? From what you know.
You know what? It's a unification, so I don't believe there's a rematch clause. We didn't negotiate that when it came to negotiating the fight. So there's no need for a rematch clause. We didn't ask for it, and I don't know if they did, but if they would have probably told me something, or they would have let me know.
Yeah. Out of the fights that are scheduled that we know of, the big fights, we have Pacquiao Barrios coming, we have Paul versus Chavez, we have Tank versus Roach, the rematch, and Crawford versus Canelo. Out of all of the big matches that people know about, which one are you looking forward to the most?
Well, without counting obviously fights that I'm involved, I would probably say Crawford versus Canelo, because it's a fight that most of the people don't give Crawford a chance because of the size, but he's got skills, man. He's got skills. He's got good speed, good footwork. That's why I do give him a chance.
You do give Crawford.
I do give Crawford a chance, of course. Canelo's last few fights, he does his work. He gets work done, but never does that little extra to please, or to he knows he doesn't need to anymore, so he's just comfortable enough with just securing the win. He became a businessman, and I think that could be something in favor of Crawford, that if he comes out in his best and good footwork, Canelo is flat-footed. He his last fight, especially against the runner, he was throwing one punch at a time. Didn't even try to be aggressive and get him into the ropes, throw combinations of 4 to 5 punches. He never even tried that. So I think at this stage, I am giving Crawford a big chance of maybe pulling it out.
We all know Crawford has amazing skill and ability. We saw what he did to Earl Spence. We've seen his career and everything. As you stated, Canelo, he's been kind of lackluster as of late. Do you think Crawford has the skill enough to bring out the best in Canelo at the same time, while Crawford is having the best fight of his night as well?
I think that's why it's one of the fights that I'm really looking forward to, because yes, that's a possibility too. If Crawford starts with his speed and footwork and landing 2-3 punches at a time, which I think he will, I think that's going to bring the best out of Canelo too, to go out there and show the world that this small guy is not going to compete with me at this division. So I think it'll bring the best out of both. So that's why I really see it a great fight.
Let's talk even more about what's going on with that fight. It's going to be in the early afternoon, and it's going to be on Netflix. I don't even know if it's Netflix pay-per-view or anything. We've seen live events
so early
on
in the
Netflix.
Afternoon, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, it's going to be in the afternoon because I believe it's battling a UFC card, and they don't want to go head up, so they're going to put it a little earlier than they would normally.
Oh, shit.
So yeah, so that's what is going on, and what people are talking about. Yeah, it's going to be an earlier show. What are your thoughts on that, if that were to actually transpire?
Yeah, I didn't even know that, but it's on a Saturday, right?
Yes, Saturday the 13th.
Oh wow. Yeah, I didn't know that. That's going to be interesting to see. Maybe he'll be fighting like at 4 or 5 p.m. something
like that. Yeah.
Well, not bad, but it's different.
Well, we see the Saudi shows at noon
exactly.
here.
So yeah, it's Saturday. People will travel. Instead of getting there at 8 to the main event, they're gonna have to get there at 6. People do they always get there for the main event. In Vegas, people always show up to the main event only.
Yeah.
So people are just they're gonna have more time to party after. all the fans, all the people, they're just gonna have more time to party after the fight.
True. Now let's talk about fights that people should show up early too. That Pacquiao Barrios undercard.
That whole card is
hilarious. Yeah. It's fantastic. The first fight is the Fierro versus Isaac Pitbull Cruz, the rematch.
Yes.
And we saw that on the Benavidez Morel undercard.
Correct.
So how do you think about that fight? What do you think?
And look, and I have Fierro in the gym right now. He's training hard. He's getting in great shape. He's got great sparring partners. Same guys that we were using with Pitbull. So Pitbull against Rayo. So Fierro's looking good, man. Fierro's training hard. So it's gonna be a great fight. It's gonna be one of those fights, just like the first fight that everybody's seen.
A lot of people thought he pulled it off that first
exactly.
time.
A lot of people thought he pulled it off. So this time, I know Pitbull's gonna be better too, because Pitbull's a hard-working dude, man. Pitbull has the heart and has the the balls to go out there and put up performance, because he's done it before. He's done it many times. So that's why I think this is going to be one of the best fights of the night.
To me, the most underrated fight on that card is the next one, and that's Brandon Figueroa versus Joet.
Yes.
Joet Gonzalez. I know a lot of people don't think the name is like sexy or whatever. Don't think like it's a big name, but it's a very good test for Brandon Figueroa, and also where Joet is at as well.
Man, I don't call it a big test for Brandon Figueroa. Man, I think it's a fucking it's a real fight, man. Yeah. I don't think it's a test for do people. I don't know. Do people
kind of downplay Joet because of that?
Right?
Yeah, they kind of downplay Joet because he doesn't have that name. He doesn't have that.
Did you guys see his last fight?
Yes, I did.
Did you guys see Figueroa's last fight?
Yeah, against
I could, I don't bet.
Yeah.
But if I had to, I'd put my money in Joet.
Oh wow. Because he's coming in as the B side.
Believe me. Oh, well, yeah, because it's a PBC card. Yeah. He will be the B side. But no, man, I could. I put my money 100% on Joet, and I don't know what the odds are, but
he's definitely the underdog. He's definitely the underdog.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, so I might have to do that too when I'm in Vegas. Then.
Honestly, doesn't hurt to put a couple $100.
Exactly, it doesn't.
Because if it's 3-4 to 1, you guys will win.
Oh yeah.
I think Joet's gonna pull it off.
Now the co-main event is also big. It's the Fundora Zoo rematch. We all saw what happened the last time. Zoo was preparing for Keith Thurman. Got injured with 2-3 weeks left.
Correct.
Fundora stepped in. He was already on the undercard and pulled off one of the biggest upsets that a lot of people weren't seeing. But some people I knew betted on Fundora and won money on that. But do you see anything different this time? Do you see the fact that Zoo actually has a full training camp for Fundora, that the outcome may become different?
I think it's going to be a total different story. Look, that cut in the head with accidental cut in the head made the big difference. Zoo was supposed to win. That was the plan. But since then, Fundora's just got so much better, man. Fundora's his performances have been good. He's just a warrior, and he could make fights so easy for himself if he was just box and keep on not get hit. But he likes to fight, so he makes fights so exciting. That's why I'm a big fan of his, man. I'm choosing him on the rematch.
Really?
Fundora on the rematch. He's local. He's a great dude. Great family.
Yeah.
I want to see him pull it off.
And then obviously
Tim Tszyu just coming off a great performance, but he had 2 back-to-back losses, and he got knocked up pretty bad, and the fight before, so that could also
be a little thing there.
Yeah, a lot of questions there too.
Yeah, because he did just get a win against Joey Spencer.
Yeah, but Joey Spencer is not, he got a good win, but it wasn't that type of opponent where you could give him all that credit.
And now we have the main event, the return of Pacquiao after 4 years out of the ring and everything against Mario Barrios. Your thoughts on that fight?
Look, I think it's a fight that just because of the card that they put together, it's gonna do really good. The arena is gonna be sold out. People are gonna order on pay-per-view. I think it's gonna do really good numbers because of the whole undercard. I think Pacquiao, went to the I can't say the easiest because Barrios is a world champion, so I can't say he's easy either, man. But it did, if he wouldn't fight against Norman.
Yeah.
He wouldn't fight against Boots. You know what I mean? Because Boots was the champion. Now that he wouldn't have fought against Boots. He would have never fought against Norman. Those guys would have hurt Pacquiao. So he chose Barrios, which also fights for PBC, so made it a lot easier. But Barrios he's young, he's big, he's hungry. He's had performances where we question his, skills, chin. But he has heart, man. He has heart, and Pacquiao's 46, so that's a big difference right there. I would love to see Pacquiao make history and become, the youngest. He already is the oldest welterweight champion.
Yeah.
But 6 years later, he's gonna break his own record. I would love to see that because Pacquiao's a fucking great person, great dude. But I don't see how at 46 he could win. I don't see how he could beat Barrios.
And he's the underdog, I mean.
I don't see how he can beat Barrios, honestly.
Since you brought up his name, let's talk about that knockout from Norman to Sasaki today. Good Lord.
Insane, crazy, dude. This dude is...
Switch!
He could have easily fought over here in the States, but he's not the big name yet. So going to Japan, I'm pretty sure he got a huge payday. He got and looks sensational. Everybody's still talking about it. It didn't have to be here in the States. Here in the States, it would have been against somebody else that didn't really make a lot of sense, and he would have did the same thing, and nobody would be talking about it. Going all the way to Japan and getting the knockout the way he did, it's got every, now he's the man at welterweight. A couple more fights, he'll, waiting to see who gets the vacant titles. If Woods vacates all those titles, then there's a lot of fights out there for him, man. There's big fights out there for him. So I would love to see him. I don't see Ryan Garcia fighting him. I don't see Devin Haney fighting him.
I was about to bring up that because not only his performance today, but this past weekend we had Hitchens versus Gambosis.
Yes,
we saw Hitchens.
And there's word about Hitchens maybe going to welterweight too. Man, those guys are the real deal. At 47, Norman is going to be hard to beat, man. Like I said, big fights like Ryan or Teofimo maybe moving up. I don't see Teofimo moving up to challenge against Norman. That'd be that'd be fucking a lot of hard if he did.
You think Norman's name is more?
But I see Teofimo maybe doing it before
Devin or Ryan.
No, Devin will never do it.
Do you think Brian Norman Jr. is one of those high risk, low reward type of name fighters right now?
Look, I think it's going to take a little more time, a few more wins, but I think he's got the skills. Look, I can't compare him to anybody else because he could punch. He's got a good left. Can be a Leonard, can be a Duran, can be a Hagler, a Hearns. But he does have a little bit where whatever it is, he's good at.
Yeah.
He is good at. He's not just a defensive fighter. He's not just a power puncher. He's not just a good left hook to the body punch fighter. He's got a little bit of everything. So I think still a few more wins. I think Top Rank is going to do a great job with picking the right fights, picking the right opponents, and making them look good.
Obviously, we see the new gym. We see where we're at. You guys have been here a little under 4 months. How's the change been?
Been great, man. Been great. Obviously, the fighters are the same because, it's not like, you have a beautiful gym that doesn't bring you new fighters. It is nice to work out in this, and, in a gym like this. All the guys are happy there, they love it, but it's the same guys I already had over there. So, it's, the new gym didn't bring me new fighters. I think our work is what brings us the fighters. We can't say that it's the new gym that's bringing me. No, I think it's just our work. But it is very nice to have these guys. You know what I mean? It's beautiful, man.
Yeah, we'd be sweating right now.
Huh?
If we were in Riverside, we'd be sweating.
Oh yeah.
You and I, we are not even working out. We'd be
sure,
sweating right now.
For sure. And that's the way real gyms are, where it's fucking hot and everything, So the kids get a little more treated a little bit nicer. But they're all hard-working guys. They all train hard, We're ready we got fights every weekend, in the next couple of months. So we just keep the guys busy.
Yeah, you got a couple of fighters tomorrow night in Long Beach.
Long Beach, we have 3 of our fighters fighting tomorrow night in Long Beach. Saturday, we have Brandon Lee fighting in New Jersey, and then the following week we have Uriel fighting on the Jake Paul Chavez card, and we have Cesar Morales, a kid turning pro. We got a kid turning pro. I don't even know where he's at, but he's turning pro. In Rosarito. So, we just keep the guys busy and keep, going week after week.